Hey everybody, it's Paul Miller here at Dream Guitars, and I've got Simon Haycraft from Preston Thompson Guitars with me today to talk about this beautiful masterpiece number 2 that we've just gotten into the shop. So Simon, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, it's good to see it in your hands.
My favorite place for guitars to be.
Yeah, got there nicely.
So how are things out there in Sisters?
Oh, they're doing pretty good. A little smoky around here with the fires and stuff, but yeah, we're still plodding on and working pretty much full time.
Yeah.
And just working things out, and yeah, it's going well.
I really enjoyed my visit out there. It's such a beautiful part of the country, and you guys have a really sweet shop, and the town is really sweet.
Yeah, it's a nice place to work, for sure.
No
small
doubt.
town vibe, small shop, and yeah,
cool.
Good place. Yeah.
Well, Simon, let me start by just asking a bit about yourself and your background. Tell us a bit about where you learned your amazing skills that we're about to look at today, and maybe a little bit about how you met Preston Thompson as well.
Yeah, well, my skills are kind of a bit of an amalgamation of artistic skills that I've learned over the years. I studied in college, fine art, photography, textiles, and I did a wildlife illustration course in Wales, and that's where a lot of my passions lie, in wildlife, outdoors, and kind of natural themes, really. But I've been experimenting with a lot of different art forms, and over the past few years, I've been using wood as like a canvas for my art, both personally and I brought that to this guitar, which I had actually shown some artwork to Preston when I first started working for him. And he had an artistic side to him too, so he very much appreciated it. And we talked about, applying some of my skills to some of these masterpiece series. And this is really hits all those points for a masterpiece. It's probably one of our most conceptualized pieces, but yeah, Preston was in on this in his last days, and I showed him the final fretboard in the design stage, just in the drawings and stuff. And yeah, he was really excited, and it was definitely it was a nice one to see him off on, and really it made him happy to see where we could go beyond him and all the rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really sweet. I always tell people, a lot of people, know about, of course, that we all lost Preston, and but I tell them that I really think, as a business owner and from that side of things, it's really hard to develop a team that I think really carries out your dream and your mission as the business owner. And I think Preston did a great job of, when I came out and met you all, I could tell that everybody has the same passion that I sensed in him, and I think you guys are very much continuing and adding to I think his dreams. That's really cool. Yeah,
definitely. And this guitar, in fact, is dedicated to Preston. This is kind of from the crew, really. This is our kind of thank you and goodbye, and all these good feelings, but put into it through our craftsmanship. And our dedication to what he was trying to do. So and yeah, we got that in the label there. I don't know if people can see in the guitar there, but there's some lovely script in there in brass, with the brass logo, and a little color treatment. It's a maple label, and it's got the same color treatment as the body on the guitar. So it's a really nice just one of those little points on the guitar that make it special.
And the best way for y'all to see that is make sure you visit the guitar page on our website, which we'll have linked here on the video, and we'll have 50 or 60 great photos of it, including the labels. So take a look at those, and you can blow up all the images and really dig into Simon's and the whole team's work here. This is a lot to look at. So why don't you start by telling us about I guess we could start with just from the sort of 10,000-foot level. What the idea was on the front and back of the guitar, and then we can dig into a little bit deeper.
Yeah, well, I was definitely going for a kind of a somber look for this guitar, with this theme of water. The fish, obviously, calling on some Eastern influence with the Japanese and Chinese with the coloring, and that theme of water and tranquility and serenity and balance. But and a mysterious look to it, but have everything on the guitar all tying in together. There's every single part of it is conceptually working together. And went for a kind of asymmetrical design, keeping with the theme of movement and water, so your eye's not in one place for too long. It's constantly moving around. And because you have that dark background and the brass perfs, these fine lines too, that really make them pop and show well.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit. Since you mentioned the brass, let's at least just start there. It's one of the, maybe simpler elements of the guitar, but it's used throughout, and I think it's a really nice touch. So, what we're talking about here is some of these fine purfling lines, so like around the headstock and within some of the theme on the fingerboard. And again, look at the photos, y'all, to really appreciate this. And then the entire body. It's a 45 style in general, but the purflings that are here incorporate brass. So tell us about how that came to be. And it can't be easy. It can't be easy to do that.
that was a bit more, it's almost, have we bitten off more than we can chew? But as a material, it's kind of difficult to work with. We did have to R&D certain parts of it. Some aspects have to be pre-formed. We actually made our own perfs and pre-formed them so that they wouldn't move about when it came to binding them and gluing them together, which is a trick in itself. So really, manhandling these little perfs was tricky, and that's something Scott did an amazing job of, and it really shows those 45 appointments to their best. That dark on dark.
I love this.
The Brazilian rosewood trim too, which picks up on some of those colors. There's some purples in there, some browns, some reds. So definitely the color scheme with the brass also catching the light and giving you that kind of movement, along with the movement of the water, the wood. It just catches the light in certain
No, it's very true. I was just noticing that as I was moving the guitar. You can see even here on camera, you can see how, it's not just abalone. It's not just white and black. There's a really golden hue that comes off of it. It's lovely, really lovely. And even around again, look at the photos, but right around the saddle area and the bridge pins, there's brass as well. So it's, very, very much echoing throughout.
Yeah, those details are everywhere. Even the like you said, the bridge pins. There's a little bit of white pearl inside a little piece of green Arizona jade, around a little ring of brass. All of that we made in-house, and that was a trick. Just installing those little pieces and then sanding them back down to a 600 grit,
right?
Polishing and so all those little details, but it's what brings it all together.
Yeah, and actually, if I could just jump onto that for a second, it's just so people realize, people always ask me, how long does it take to make a guitar, and a standard guitar without all of this could easily be 100 hours, and then you add all of this work, and I mean, I can't even imagine, I'm sure it's in the thousands, and that's before the R&D.
Around 500. I'm spending more time counting the hours than I am. But yeah.
So I mean, it's a masterpiece for a reason. You know, this series is really, it's near and dear to my heart because we're of course offering each of the masterpieces, and I'm really proud to be a part of it with you guys. You know, just to try to, you know, make sure that these wind up in a home where someone's going to love them, and it's really a beautiful thing.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be all the masterpieces are slightly different. You know, we're going to be using different woods, different combinations.
Yep.
And that kind of pushes the boundaries a little bit. And
I'm sure it's really fun too for you and the team to have a chance to stretch. You know, I mean, it's, you know, if you just built what everyone ordered, you know, you never had a chance to try this sort of techniques.
Yeah, the challenge is part of the fun. There's also, you know, there's some stress involved, no doubt.
Of course.
You know, you don't know. You know, if one thing goes wrong late in the game, bad thing. But this one, there was a lot of pre-planning.
Right.
So that, you know, there was a lot of, I did not want to get into it without knowing exactly what we were going to expect. The fretboard very much, I think, says that. You know, it's quite a simple design, but there's some details in there when you look closely that the way they fit together, it's very technical.
Yeah.
They have to go.
I would not use the word simple when I look at this fingerboard.
Right, it's not. Yeah, there's a lot of pieces. There's got to be over 150 pieces of separate material in there.
Yeah. Can you just tell us a handful of the materials on the fingerboard? Let's start there. You know, what are some of the materials?
Yeah, we've got white and gold pearl on that one fish.
Yep.
And then white, and then we have some red.
And that's all pearl.
Red stone with the little black flecks in it.
Okay.
And then we have 3 different shades of green stone there, to give some variegation on it.
Sure.
So we have some, you know, they're quite muted and dark, but they all have a different kind of color and little texture to them too. And then there's lilies that was like pink mussel, and there's like a tiny brass center right in the middle of all those little lilies. Each petal is a separate petal. So there was, I think, like 16 tiny little petals to each micro flower.
Right.
Yeah, but different shades of pink and white. So, and I did that with the cherry blossoms too, to give that variance of color and light. They all hit the light different at different angles, and it really gives that variance and a bit of depth to it rather than just a flat.
Yeah, no, I immediately noticed how, you know, you didn't just go with bright everything. Like there is definitely some nice, you know, the lily pads are a little bit more behind the scenes, and you can gives you something to sort of dive into with your eyes. And every time I grab the guitar, I find something different. You know, it's kind of fun like that. There's some stuff to see for sure. You can't see it all in a day. There's some things that you don't see in the first time. And then there's perfs running through all those over the fish, but under the lily pads. That was a trick. So things had to be cut at certain times, and I'm really proud of the perf work on that. Those lines, it's crazy.
So clean, beautiful. Yeah. I'm really pleased with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then just for you guitar nuts out there, we've got Adirondack spruce on the top, and then we've got beautiful quilted maple, which obviously was chosen to create the water, the sort of the canvas of water for the fish to be in. I want to talk a little bit about the back now and how, you know, without giving away your trade secrets, tell us a little bit about this for all you at home. This is something that I've never seen before. As far as I know, this has never been done on a guitar, this particular technique, which Simon has sort of, I guess, developed or at least applied here for this beautiful masterpiece guitar. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it, if you would? Yeah,
I've done some art pieces that are similar in the effect, and I've done some game fish and other things. You know, it can apply to things other than koi, but I chose the koi for their bright colors. You know, these deep reds and oranges, and So the maple was chosen to, to facilitate that artwork, but also create a mellow sound, which is what we're, this is part of the concept of this water concept. These are still waters, this tranquility. The maple lends itself very much to that. It's not a torrent, it's not a booming
right.
tranquil waters, and so it works on two different levels. But the quilted maple really has a life to it, and when I look at it, I always think of water. It reminds me of that ripple on it, and so yeah, I'll use that ripple, and I'll use the grain of that wood to enhance the artwork. So I'll stain the artwork into the wood without blocking it. So you'll still see the grain and those highs and lows, the dance on the wood, so to speak. And then when I'm doing the outline of the fish, I will contort the outline to the grain of the wood. So that's what gives it this kind of
I noticed that
lively effect, where it's part of the wood. So it's not inlaid in the wood. It's not covering up the wood. It hasn't affected the sound in any way. It's just a very fine layer. And then there's, I'm using tints and dyes. So yeah, and then there's the sunburst. So these fish are swimming within a sunburst. And I've chosen these kind of muted colors in there to give you that depth. It looks different in different lights, doesn't it, Paul?
Yes.
It'll get lighter and then it'll get darker.
Yep.
And it fades to a very soft fade, which goes well with that Brazilian as it meets the trim there.
Yeah, and what you're saying about the outline of the fish, it does, to me, it's very much like I'm looking into water. It's not like you're looking at a drawing of a fish. You're looking into a pool of water and finding the fish there, which is really just, it's a very beautiful effect and something I've not seen before. It's just, again, it's hard with the lights in the computer here, so I apologize, y'all, but look at follow the link below and go look at the photos and really enjoy this. This is something, I've never seen before, and it's quite special.
Yeah. Well, it does come alive, doesn't it, as you move it, and that's part of this piece.
That's gorgeous, and the guitar sounds great. I actually just a few moments ago did the recording of it, and played it in standard tuning and drop D, and it's really lovely sound. It's got that darker maple quality to it, but it's very present and very alive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we definitely wanted it to have some personality and a presence, and I think the body shape and the scale length all kind of help there. I had Gareth, I told him, hey, I don't want this to be just a maple guitar. I want it to be a little bit more. I want it to command the room a little bit, but have those nice feelings.
Gareth is the magician who does the voicing of these instruments, y'all. He really is a magician. I tell him all the time, and it's unbelievable what he gets out of mere wood.
Yeah. You give him a piece of wood, he'll make it sound as good as it will sound.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, anything else about the instrument overall you want to say, or about your technique, or anything else you want to share with folks before we sign off for today?
I just hope whoever sees it enjoys it. It's there to be enjoyed. It's a beautiful instrument. It's very unusual. It's a special guitar for a lot of reasons. And I just hope it goes to a good home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And kudos to y'all for a beautiful send-off for Preston Thompson. And thanks to Preston for bringing his guitars alive and bringing you all together so that we can continue to enjoy the instruments. So I really appreciate y'all. Yeah, it'll be on to the next one. So, all right. Yeah. Thanks, Paul. Well, thanks, Simon. Great to chat with you. Yeah, you too. Cheers. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye. Golden? We're golden. Figure out how I can stop it. And hopefully send you some more stuff. Fish it out. Yeah. Okay. No, I think that was great. I think we got a lot of the stuff we need. So yeah. I'll sign off here, and Greg will do his editing, and we'll touch base in a couple of days.
All right. Cheers, Paul.
Peace.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Bye.